I'll get back to Peter in a moment, but Dave, I want to ask you about what the Prime Minister said to me on Afghanistan. I asked the Prime Minister, we had a broader discussion about the alliance. This is before he departed for, in fact, before the AUKUS announcement was just ahead of that. And he said that in Afghanistan that he would have liked a delay in that withdrawal and indeed did argue for that behind the scenes along with Boris Johnson and Emmanuel Macron. What do you make of that? Was that a surprise to you?
Look, I think it's, I hadn't heard that before. It doesn't surprise me, though, and I think it's certainly the right thing to do. I mean, I was arguing, and I think Peter was as well, from recollection, against a precipitate US withdrawal. And when it became clear that the Taliban was making gains in Afghanistan much quicker than we would have expected on the basis of a fixed US date for exit, I think many of us were in favour of having a pause there and allowing the Afghan government to stabilise itself in the Afghan National Army and to avoid what was a pretty catastrophic outcome in the end. All we can do, though, of course, is look, ultimately this is a US decision and President Biden's decision. I think if we made the case for staying and he chose to go in a different direction, well, look, we did the right thing, and that decision was ultimately on his shoulders.
Yeah, Peter, the Prime Minister making it clear in that interview with me that he was on the same page as Boris Johnson and Emmanuel Macron, at least when it came to delaying the exit at the to allow more people, more Afghan nationals to be evacuated.
Well, it's all very well, Kieran, for Morrison, Macron or Boris Johnson to make the argument for an extension. That's fine. The point is that this catastrophe that we're seeing in Afghanistan unfold was locked in as soon as President Trump said the date of withdrawal is going to be sometime in May, and then President Biden kind of reiterated a date at the end of August or early September. The point is that this cannot be an excuse for Scott Morrison's abysmal failure on national security, in the sense that when you have people in a local theatre work with us, locals work with us, we need to send them the message that we've got their back. And we failed the moral obligation to the people that worked with us for 20 years to get them out. And I'm talking about the interpreters, their families, people who served in the uniform with Australians, ADF personnel as well as diplomatic personnel.
More than 4,000 were evacuated.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but he closed our embassy in late May. He took out all of the people that did the assessments, all the DFAT staff that were doing the visa processing. They were only returned mid-August, 3 months later, at the height of the evacuation. There was a moral obligation that was failed and a national security imperative that was failed. And he can't just keep making the excuse that we asked for an extension of the deadline. He should have done better. And by the way, it wasn't a surprise. We were telling him when Trump first made the call and when Biden reiterated the end date, get the people out, take them out to the UAE, process them there, and then you don't have to rush in the evacuation that is inevitable that's going to happen. So he failed on both fronts.